This show makes us sympathize and root for the bad guys and the good guys, but now we have to sympathize with a brat teenager.
That was your intro?
Better than yours.
I don't know. Chat vote. Let's get a voting poll in the chat right now.
We have to sympathize with Weta now.
Oh, I got Andrews is greater than Jeremiah in the chat already. Everyone's saying Drew.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Andor-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Andor, Season 1, Episode 10, One Way Out. You should have had that as a soundbite, everyone cheering one way out. No, it's too late. They should have had a button during the jailbreak of them like celebrating. We're out.
Yeah, they're all like pushing it.
But yes, a prison break episode. Is this like the first?
No.
Like,
well,
we've seen like individuals get broken out of prisons, but like
no, it wasn't that was slaves.
There was slaves that escaped in the Clone Wars. There's been like people.
Okay, but in Solo, was that a prison? Like the Wookiee thing?
Kinda, but they got them. Anyway, this is like the first like real jailbreak. How about that?
Yeah, I feel like the Solo thing might count.
One person, like in Rebels, like they broke Hondo out of prison, but that was just like one small little hole in the wall Imperial base or something. But
Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, you broke out. That's the Death Star.
That's the EU, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not canon.
But yes, this episode is, I guess you would consider it the finale of this arc. You know, they were doing 3 episode arcs, but this is like a 4 episode arc, and these finales for the episode arcs are always amazing. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know if I like this episode better or the heist scene with the Eye of Eldani, like the episode 6. Like, these 2 episodes are very different, but they're both very emotional in their own way.
Dude,
and it's
I don't even think they're comparable in the sense of this episode. I think is some of the best Star Wars we've ever seen.
It is very good. I think there's a lot of layers to this episode. Like, there's no way. Like, honestly, we should be like talking about this like for like 4 episodes of Empire Radio to like break down all the details, because there's so much, and I know I'm missing everything, and we always do our scene by scene.
Pretty much cried on my watch party, so if you ever go check that out, because that part, like, the mall destroyed me.
The can't swim thing.
Yes. Yeah. It
was
rocked my
pretty
soul,
sad.
Which is why I created a soundbite that Jeremiah didn't want to use.
But yeah. If you're not watching the live stream, you missed Drew trying to do an opening.
Push it right now.
No, don't. Nope. And I cut it out. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. So we went with my lame one also. So, but yes, this episode was special. I would agree with that. It's up there with one of the best things out in Star Wars. I don't know how I would rank it amongst everything in Star Wars, but like it was something up there. It was definitely tied to or better than the Eldani heist, but there's a lot to talk about.
Dude, I honestly forgot about that heist, bro. That was just way too many episodes ago.
It was like 4 episodes ago.
That's a lot. That's 5 hours now, almost.
But yeah, I think this episode will probably go down as like probably everyone's favorite episode. of the season.
Well, so far.
I think even when it's all said and done, I think people are gonna love it more. But what are any more overall thoughts from you?
No, it was just like so much was happening so fast, and even like you said, like there's certain parts throughout this that you sympathize. And I just think for me it was just like he was able to convince the other guy to help him, and he didn't want to be there anymore. And it was like a big ordeal, and he gave everyone the speech and encouragement to leave this place. And then he forgot that he couldn't, like, he didn't realize like the only way out was to swim, or like.
I wonder if people even knew that they were surrounded by water. I know Andor was able to, because like when he gets brought, like you see him kind of like looking up and like over, like when it's like turning and it's on its side, and he saw that it was water. But like,
I'm wondering if he was like hoping that there's gonna be something, because it just all started jumping out. Also, like he should have just jumped and started panicking, and hopefully someone was gonna help him.
We're getting, we might be getting a little ahead.
We can
talk about the specifics of that later on when we do CBC. But like it was like a lot of this episode left things open ended in such a way that like we don't know what to think, and so we'll get into theories and hopes and fears about this later on. But I think we can jump in scene by scene stuff. So one, we should just get the one little short Ferric scene out. Like I don't even know why they even had it in this episode, and probably no one even remembers it because
I totally forgot about it.
All it was people who were like friends of Marva talking with her doctor, like she's not taking her medication because she can't eat, but she wants to eat, and it's just I'm kind of worried. But then you see Cinta watching from the distance, paying attention, and then you see there's some other guy there, like he's watching also, and it's like, who's this other random guy? I didn't recognize him as any of the Imperial officers or anything. Like, I don't even know what to think. Like, what was the point of this whole scene? Like, they could have just left this whole scene out and it would have been perfectly fine.
I think it's supposed to bring up next week's.
Well, probably, but I feel like they could have just left that scene.
I mean, for like next episode. No one's gonna remember it,
right? So it's like I didn't really get it, but obviously, because we know from the trailer that there's rioting and stuff that happens on Ferric, so something's gonna happen. But like, it was just kind of weird that they had this short little scene that didn't add anything to this episode's story, and we didn't get anything about Bix because she was just tortured last episode, and I don't know.
Even like the leading up or whatever, like the recap, they showed Bix like we were gonna like
someone
talk to her or something. But
someone posted a meme in the Discord. It was that torture scene where she gets the headset put on, but it's put on Anakin and he's smiling.
Oh heck no! No.
That's honestly one of the best Star Wars memes I've seen in a while. Like that's
sad, but also
it's funny, but it's not funny. But yeah, so that's the Ferric scene. And then we can jump into the Mon Mothma scene, which I thought was a very good scene. Like the whole thing. I don't know what you thought about it, but I really liked.
I liked it. It actually made me sympathize with her relationship.
Right, because the whole show, like I said, it was opening. Like we fall in love with the characters on every side of the story, the good characters and the bad characters, and like we sympathize with them, we root for them, like regardless of where they are in the story. But this whole time, everyone hates Mon Mothma's daughter, Alita, because she's just a bratty teenager. And now, like we kind of like worry for her, like we care about her because she's being. You don't care about this?
No, I care about it, but it has nothing to do with her.
What do you mean,
How does that have anything to do with her?
Lita?
Like, in the sense of, like, it was up to Mon to let it happen, and she said no, so it's not.
She didn't say no. She's definitely gonna say yes to this.
Really?
Okay, yes, because if she doesn't do this, the 400,000 credits that's gone, they got shifted over, is going to be caught by the Empire. And if that happens, she's going to get thrown in prison for the rest of her
I
life.
just thought she was gonna find a different way to figure it out.
No, there's no way. Why would they bring this up if it didn't have any significance? Because they've been planning this whole. Okay,
I thought they.
Let's explain the scene first before we.
Okay.
So, Davu, what's his last name? Skulden is Tay's like other like business guy that he wants to bring in to help hide this money stuff and move money around. And so he comes and visits, and you can tell he's just a shady, crappy guy that does like, because I think last episode she was describing him as like a thug or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's very like in the Trandrilla's like tradition and their kind of way of life, and he kind of talks about the whole marriage thing of marrying young, and like he knows that she's lying about the charity that she's starting, but he's like, I don't care, like it's your money, you have a right to move it wherever you want, like I'm all on board. And Mon Mothma's, well, what's your fee? And they kind of like argue back and forth a little bit, like, come on, what's your actual fee? And
Well, because he was like, no fee, don't worry about it.
Well, he still had a cost that he wanted. And he wanted to come back to Coruscant with his 14-year-old son to meet her daughter Lita.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought this was great storytelling, because like they give this information. They write or the story is written out where we learn about this daughter, and we don't like her. We think she's a brat. We hate her. And then we learn about Mon Mothma being married at 15 to her husband. And we didn't really, that's all we really got. And I'm like, okay. But then here, it all comes together very well for me, like why they mention these things, because this tradition of marrying young is being used here to kind of manipulate, in a sense, because it seems like the guy, it's like, I'm not sure, I should probably know more about Mon Mothma's backstory, but we know she's rich, but I'm guessing she's kind of like royalty maybe or something. But we know she's obviously in the Senate. So like this guy just wants to have connections with the Mothma family, whether it's royalty or just political or whatever. And so to do that, like, all through like history, people have used marriages to like form treaties and alliances and stuff like that. And so his fee is that his 14-year-old son meets her daughter, and like
because he even mentions it before, like that's how they were married, like the old traditional way,
right?
And then after that, he mentioned that he wants to have his son meet up with.
You're right,
but no promises.
Right, but everyone knows that it's more than just let's just hope for the best, like that they fall in love. Like he wants to put it more seeming like an arranged marriage, and Mon Mothma knows exactly what he's doing, and she's fearful for her daughter, and like as an audience, we're fearful for her, because it's like she could be forced into like an arranged marriage. And so like, and we finally learned her age. She's 13. So there's what we kind of debated for a while on how old she was. But yes, she's 13. And so like, I think that she's going to go along with it, because we know that this $400,000.
See, and if she does, I don't know if I can support Mon as a character.
But here's the thing: if you're gonna say that, you can't support Luthen, because he does all the same exact things, but even worse.
I never said I supported Luthen.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And Luthen, I mean, we don't hear about Luthen ever again. So he does something bad and shady to the point where
Well,
he's
we don't know that.
I I
Okay,
think
you
the
can't just you
boys.
can't say that because you haven't seen a certain character in the show and you don't see him in Rogue One or the original trilogy that they're
I think he's
dead.
gonna die off.
Well, he probably will, but you can't just assume like jump to conclusions like he
What, that
because
he
he.
dies off?
I'm saying it's too early to tell like what his end is. He could still be alive during Rogue One. Like we don't know that.
I guess.
I'm just saying that you can't be mad at Mon Mothma for forcing her
For
daughter.
selling her, yes, you what?
Okay, but if you
Alright,
do
help me
that,
out.
okay, let me finish my comment. I'm saying if you're gonna be mad at Mon Mothma for doing that, you can't support Luthen with anything that he does. It's
Why?
literally the same exact thing. He's killing people for the greater good.
No,
He's
that's
literally,
war. Selling your child is completely
but
different.
he's doing it for the rebellion, for the future of the galaxy. His whole
Yeah, but
speech is about
selling
that.
your own child for that is completely different. This is why I don't think she's actually gonna do it.
Okay, but the writing of the story is paralleling those two stories. That he's giving up everything, he's allowing innocent people to be killed. You see Cassian killing innocent people. You see all this stuff in the name of the rebellion and to do freedom and to fight the Empire. They're
Yeah.
making these horrid decisions,
Mhm.
and Luthen is doing that same stuff, but like 1,000 times worse than what Mon Mothma would be doing with her daughter. Like he's literally saying, "I'm going to kill all of Krieger's people so that this one guy can live with his
No,
daughter and wife."
in okay, in his defense, Krieger only has 15 people.
It's 50 people, but
Nah.
it's still
Mhm.
people. No life is more important than another. Like everyone's
True, but
equal.
when you sacrifice your own family in the sense of you sell your daughter off, I don't know.
But I'm
It's a
just
little
saying,
different.
why
I
why
think
would
it's
they
way different.
why would they bring up this marriage thing if it didn't matter though?
Oh, I think it's and when I viewed it, I think it was supposed to show why her relationship with her husband is so bad
Okay, but
because she was practically trapped
no,
into a marriage that she doesn't
I'm
agree
talking
in.
about this Davu guy bringing up his son wanting to meet her daughter. The fact that this is a plot point goes to show that it's actually something that's going to happen. Because it would be pointless to bring this plot point up and then to say, "Oh, we're not going to do that," and then she figures out something else. Like that would be a terrible way to write the
I
story.
disagree
But like, what
because
would
I
the
think it shows the fact that why her relationship with her husband's so bad and why she doesn't tell her husband anything
right? But
is
they could
because just she was just forced into a marriage with him.
right, but they
And
could have
so
just said that like we've already known. But why would they bring up the daughter and son thing here?
and to show that she still loves her daughter even though she's bratty and she is leaning on more the sides of her husband that she doesn't get along with, and to show how much pain that brought to her, she would never want to do that to someone else, including like she would never want to put her daughter through the same situation, so she found a different way to do it.
But like that's lame.
I don't
That's
think
lame
that's
writing
lame.
because
I
it's
think that's
just
good writing.
no, it's terrible writing because like it's just bring something up just for fun and then they just ignore it. Like it would be a
No, because I think it would make Mon look horrible because you could see like I mean the acting in the scene is
yeah, that
amazing.
would be the point.
And to show like how hard that was for her and like she was getting like flashbacks of her life. Why would she ever want to do that to her own kid? And as a parent, if I went through something like that, I would never want my own kid to do that, and I would rather go be in jail for the rest of my life than make my kid go do that.
Okay, I get that, but why? I
No,
just
but that's what I'm just saying.
but the whole point is to make her like with Luthen, the whole point is to make him look like he's to show that he's doing evil things for the greater good.
But we already knew that because he was making what's her name go find Andor and kill him. We already
Okay,
knew that he was being dirty.
right, but this is even
And
that's just one guy.
no, but I'm
But
just saying like
I know what
nothing
you're.
about Ethan has never not been like shady. I mean,
I
and
know.
the same with what's his name. You know what I mean? Like,
but what I'm saying is the writing is paralleling. You have to sacrifice the hardest things in order to have success. Same
mhm,
with Kino. He sacrifices everything. He gives up his life to save everyone in that prison. Without him, no one in this prison would have been saved. Like it's this is why
yeah,
I think this episode is so good, is because all these stories are paralleling each other because they're all the same story.
mhm.
And
I
like
mean,
I think it's completely pointless to bring up the whole son meeting the daughter thing if it wasn't
if
actually
it's
something that's
not
going to
what
happen.
she has to do.
Like it would be the worst writing in the show because it's just there to bring tension and like, oh, I'm gonna find another way to do it. Oh, okay. And then it's like, okay, that whole conflict had nothing to do with anything. They could just wrote in a different way that she figured out how to figure it out.
I mean, you're probably right. I just I'm gonna have a lot of issues with it as a parent, and I feel like a lot of people would.
Right. That's what Star Wars this show is supposed to do. It's supposed to
But
show.
Mon Mothma has always been the character that has been like the shining star of the rebellion forever.
Right. And we learn in Rogue
And
One that the rebellion is not all good. They do bad things.
true, but to bring Mon's character like that, I don't know, bro.
And honestly, like her sacrificing her in quotation marks sacrificing her daughter,
Sacrifice. It's literally
it's
slavery.
okay, but it's literally the least
No,
worst
dude,
bad thing in the
am
show.
I
So you're telling me
no,
marrying off your daughter in an arranged marriage and being rich
no.
for her whole life is worse than letting 50 people get killed?
It's not your own kid.
Okay, but
If she was killing her own child,
right, but
then obviously, yeah, killing those 50 people and her child was one of them, obviously, yeah, that would be awful. But it's different, Jeremiah. You don't
I
it's
think it's
different. It's
kind of
completely
terrible.
different.
It's not though,
It is
because
because it's war.
but either way, her daughter
The
is going
okay,
to
so
live in is going to be a rich person for her whole life. She's going to be royalty. She's going to be
yeah,
rich, no matter what path she takes. And like that,
but she was
her
born
life
in
is going
that.
to
I
be
don't think that
her life as a rich person is going to be in an arranged marriage is going to be way better than all those dead people.
okay, but Jeremiah, you got to remember that these dead people also volunteer to be in a rebellion. They know it's war.
But they're still innocent
Things
though.
happens
They're being
in
murdered.
war.
They're still
Yeah,
being murdered. They're still innocent.
they're not innocent. They're in rebellion. It'd be
But they're
innocent if they were just random bystanders.
but that's the whole point of the show is that
I don't view it the
everyone
same. I know
every
that might be what they're trying to portray, but I don't view it the same at all.
but the whole show, this episode showing that is everyone in the galaxy is a slave to the empire. Everyone is a victim.
Being
Like
rich does not matter if you don't have love or freedom.
okay,
Thanks, Retta, in the chat. It's true.
that's a thing. Yes. But like the
That's
whole
that's
but you look at the bird's eye view of the prison when they're swimming away,
mhm,
like it's it's not the imperial cog, but it has seven sides like the imperial cog, and it's them
mhm,
escaping from this cog.
mhm.
Like this whole episode is symbolic of everyone is a slave of the empire and they have to escape it.
Yeah, and I
So
think
like these people who are rebelling, like the Krieger's team of 50 people, like they're the same as the prisoners being they're breaking free of the. It's like
no,
they're
it's not.
everyone's victims.
Okay, yes, they are victims, but they also are slaves. Like, are you trying to say that like, yes, everyone's a slave to the empire. Sure, I guess. You can be like that, but these people are literally rebels. They're trying to do that. They know that all is fair in love and war. Like, this is literally war. They're in a war, and if they die because someone betrays them, then they die. I
Right.
just I don't view it the same. I don't know.
I
Because
don't know.
I think I just why would she not will? I don't know.
But the fact is, when she at the end of that scene when he's walking away, she's like, "I'm not even considering it," and he's like, "That's the first untrue thing you said all night." Like she is considering it. Like you have to take that at face value. That because like the panic in her eyes is like, this is my only shot to hide this 400,000 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't do this, I am going to get caught and I am going to be thrown into prison and
And she
tortured
should.
and executed.
And she
And
should.
and we know that that doesn't happen to her. So she does something where
So how close in the timeline is it when she leaves?
we're like 2 years away. And she leaves because
Dang.
she speaks
I was
against
really hoping.
this Gorman thing that's been referenced multiple times from her, the whole Gorman oppression thing, the Gorman people. Like that's still why she leaves, and that's when we see her in Rebels. And so we know that she doesn't leave because 400,000 credits was found by the Empire and she's just fleeing that.
Gotcha.
Like
I don't know. I just think like it's every view of her is gonna change if she actually goes through with this.
I think that's good. I think that's what they want. Because the whole Rogue One Andor series is a show that the rebellion is not this perfect, like does everything moral. Like they do evil things, they do bad things. Like sure, they say Saw Gerrera is like the worst, but
that's how I've always viewed Luthen, as like another Sog. Like I don't like everything he says he's been lying and manipulating the entire show. So for him, it doesn't surprise me that he's willing to do this. Like when that stuff was happening, I was like, one, it was hard for me to even understand that whole conversation because I was so in shock of what happened previous scene when this intense person, this amazing character can't swim. Like I was still showing stock, like I missed half of that conversation.
have you
And
rewatched
then
it?
huh? No.
You need to
No.
rewatch that because that
Yeah.
final scene with him is.
I mean, I got gist of it. I just missed like a lot of the elevator talk because I was like crying. But but then it was just like I don't know. Nothing about Luthen. Like I don't his character. Like not that I don't care about his character, but I can see him dying at the end of the season in 2 episodes. Like that's a possibility. So I don't have like a lot of attachment to his character, honestly. And he seems shady. Like him and Sog, like I don't know. Like there's nothing about his character that's not shady to me. So when he said that, I was like, oh, yeah, of course he's gonna do that. Like why not? Like I don't know. Like it didn't bother me, and also it didn't bother me because I don't know enough about these other people that are gonna die. I don't have an attachment. But to see this person who we've seen in all these other movies, who's been like the light and the shine and the good of the rebellion to
Who?
Mon,
Oh, okay.
and to sell her daughter because she doesn't get caught with fraud, essentially. It just like changes my whole view of her as a character. And it's like if this is actually a real thing, it's gonna be leaning a lot of fans, I feel like, the same way they feel about Luke and what they did with Luke.
I don't know. I think people like the complex story and layers that it has, and I don't think people are gonna.
But you don't think people like the complex story right now, but they're hoping that they figure it out?
Well, of course, people want that, but like, I don't think people are gonna have backlash. I agree that if she does, in a sense, sell off her daughter, like it paints her in a different light. But like, I don't think that's gonna cause people to hate that storyline or to hate her or whatever. I think it's just gonna add to her story, and it's just gonna like, and yes, change our perspective of her as she's not this perfect angel that leads the rebellion in a few years. Like, I think it's we need more stories like this where characters are gray, where they make sacrifices that we don't like, because like I don't know, like And the fact is, like, the only reason, like, we think that arranged marriage is not good is just because it's just a cultural thing. Like there are places still in the world that do arranged marriage, and like, yeah, it can be done in
Okay,
a bad
yeah,
way and like in an oppressive way, but it's also
like
time where it's
this
where it
situation.
right, but in other times it's not like a bad thing. It's just like what the cultural norm is, and no one's like it's not oppressive. It's not like
Correct. If
bad.
it was like but
And
she
so
literally she was saying though that in this situation it is bad,
no, I
and
get that,
she
but
so
I'm saying your intensity of being against it is influenced by our
no, it's not.
cultural.
Nope, nope. That's
But
not why. That's no. That's wrong. My intensity behind it is because I'm a father and I view her as a kid, and even if my kid was bratty, I wouldn't sell her
right.
off because I
Okay.
didn't wanna get
Okay.
caught
No,
with fraud.
you're not
And it has
listening.
nothing to do
No.
with if it was like a normal thing that they already did, she would already been picked out already. She would already been
Okay.
like
Right. Right. I understand
so
what you're saying. I understand that this is an oppressive form of arranged marriage. I get
yes.
that. And that's what you're against. I get that. But I'm saying you being against that is also influenced
No, it's
by
not. No,
our
because
culture
I know
not being a,
no,
we don't believe in that in our culture. It's influence. I'm not saying it's 100%.
no,
I'm saying even if
Jeremiah,
it's
the thing is I
1%,
know people that have arranged marriages personally.
I do
So
too.
I don't think it's that. For me, that's not why. It's the way they build this character and this
I'm
scene up.
I'm saying it's partially I'm not saying it's the only thing. I'm saying it's
I don't think it
influencing
has
us.
any that's not why I'm influenced. I'm influenced by her tears and how shooken up this situation was for her. That's what I'm influenced. If she was just like,
Right.
"Oh yeah, sure."
That
If
could
she was just
literally
like,
be
"Yeah, okay, let's do it."
99.99% of the reason. I'm also saying that our cultural differences here in the United States
I
has a
disagree.
0.01% influence on your perspective on it. Because that's why they write this into the story is because in our culture we see it as a bad thing.
But
Like
there's
that
cultures that are watching this movie in this show that's a norm. And they're not
right.
gonna view it. They're gonna
Right.
view it because
Right,
of
but
how it's happening.
the target audience is a Western culture, United States, Europe, Australia, Canada. Like it's all
Mm.
like in our culture, like that are it's the main thing. But they're not aiming for people in India and in Asia right now, in Africa to
India's
like
probably a big market. They should.
it is
That's a lot
like
of people.
A Bollywood Star Wars show.
Dude, I'm down.
I'm down.
Get some dancing in there.
Whew.
Boba Fett doing the jig.
I'm just saying in because Western
I understand
people
what you're saying. I'm saying for me personally though, that's not why. For me, it was if she would have just straight up said, "Okay, let's do it," because that was how I was married, then I would have been like, "All right, that's fine." Like I literally would not care. It was the emotion that she was going through in that scene, which is also like I said earlier, it was like the best acting ever.
right,
Like it
she
was
was
so
like
good.
hyper like her like when he's walking away and she's like her
Her
face
face was
and her breath
twitching.
and
Like
like
it was so good. But if that wasn't there, it wouldn't have done that to me.
and I, but like I think that because she has that response, she
She has to do
knows
it.
she has to do it. Like she's like this is the only way, and that's why it's killing her that she is
I'm not
considering
saying
this.
you're wrong. I'm just saying it's gonna be hard for me to swallow. That's all I'm saying.
And
We spent
who
30
knows,
minutes on this.
and like what's his name Davu says like they're just introduction. Like maybe they're both attractive people. Like they could still honestly meet each other and like actually fall in love and like it'd be perfectly fine. And my mouth was like, whew, that
I
was
mean,
like
I would hope, but they're also 13. Remember what you would do when you're 13?
I don't
I
know.
made some dumb decisions when I was
Okay,
13.
but also there's a cultural thing too. Like
I
us in
I know,
Western
I'm
culture
just
getting
saying.
married in our 30s, like
Well,
it's
I was
very
younger than that, but yeah.
right. But like
No, I
teen
mean,
marriage
yeah,
is a very common thing in most of human history. So
that's fair.
like
My parents were
my
married at
my when my parents got engaged, my mom was 16. Like
how
when I
old was
asked,
your dad?
he would have been like 18, like they were dating in high school. But like
My parents were the opposite.
I remember I asked my dad, I'm like, why did you propose to mom when she was 16? I'm like, well, she was the one I was going to marry, so like just get it over with. Like, why wait? I'm like, okay, I guess.
I mean, my
And
dad
now
was 17 when he got married.
my parents have been married for like 47 years. So
I mean,
like,
it does happen. And arranged marriages, I mean, the population of India will show it does work.
it does work.
But in this situation, it didn't feel like that. It felt bad.
Yes, we all felt bad because we all have to sympathize with the situation.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's still the
At the
best
end of the day,
writing.
I don't feel sympathy. I still don't really feel any sympathy for the daughter herself.
But she's still a victim. She's the biggest.
No, she is. I just feel more bad at like if Mon actually does it, because then my sympathy is going to be very negative towards her. But this would be a way for her to get rid of her daughter and her husband.
Right.
And somehow that happens. So I guess this is a really weird
Maybe
way
something
to go about it.
like the boy and the daughter meet, and they like,
or maybe
do
he
something
goes
illegal
behind
to get
Mon's.
arrested.
Okay, no. Maybe he goes behind Mon's back and actually talks to her husband, and her husband sets it up.
Maybe. Or what if
it still works, but Mon doesn't
like,
look bad.
what if the son is like someone we know from the original trilogy?
Like who?
Like I don't recognize Skulden, the last name, but like what if it was just a character that had a first name, and like the son is like sees the issues with the Empire and gets maybe the son gets the daughter on board to see that the rebellion is bad,
Is
or
it
that the Empire is bad.
Dameron's dad?
Well, Poe was born on Yavin,
so no.
So they could be, because if they're 14 and 13, and they're 5 years away, be 18 and 19. Could be, but the Dameron last name, and
Well, they could have changed their last name if they're hiding.
Right. Also, I don't think Oscar Isaacs is he Hispanic or perhaps Hispanic or something?
I mean, half, but we don't know what this guy looks like. He could be.
The dad is white,
Yeah,
so
but
the mom is.
Couldn't be. I'm just saying, we don't know. I think what would be cool though, now that I think about it, is if he goes behind the back and talks to the dad, and the dad sets up this arranged marriage behind mom's back.
That would be. Would that be better for you? So then
it would 100%, because then she would leave her husband because of how messed up Hugh is to do that.
And it would make sense that happened, because last episode when he's talking to Val, he's like, "Are you married yet?" Like talking about like the importance of getting married at young age, because like, oh, you're too old to get married type of thing. So you might be right.
Oh, I hope I called it. That would change it, because then it's not Mon's fault. So I don't have a bad view on her, and she still gets what she wants.
She still gets what she wants, and it adds to the whole thing about Perrin being this terrible guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I kind of like your theory. So hopefully you're right.
Please. Give it to me.
Because then it would still justify why they bring this storyline in of the age of the son and the daughter, and why they brought it up earlier about Mon and her husband getting married young.
Or it pans like to the scene and her daughter hears it and she's like, "Oh, I want to get married," and then she just does it herself.
Because the guy says that he's met her husband multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I think you figured it out, Drew.
Really? You think I did?
I think you did it. And if we didn't argue for the past 35 minutes
I would not have got it.
about this, it all worked. I hope this is like the best 35 minutes that we've had on the show in a long time.
Really?
We haven't debated like this in a long time.
It got really heated.
We haven't had a conversation like this since Andrew has been.
Yeah, because typically Andrew would be like, If anything, it would be you and Andrew, and then me jumping in and picking a side at
You're
some
just
point.
you're over there drinking your drink, and it's like, oh, this is fun.
Yep.
Is the chat saying anything else?
The
'Cause
chat.
I feel like we've had a lot of hot takes, and anyone offended by anything we've
Yellowstone's
said?
like, it's been 35 minutes. Y'all still on this topic? Okay, yeah, that's true. It was like the shortest scene in the movie and the episode, and we're still on here.
But yes, I can check that off. So that's done. The I'll
And
start with like the ISB thing, even though it's connected to the final scene, but we'll keep it as like a standalone thing. But um, the pilot that they captured, their plan last episode was to kill the pilot, but like make it look like he had a malfunction and died
in the
in the
cockpit.
ship. And I think it said is like there was a malfunction when he exited hyperspace, and that was
Yeah,
caused him to like whatever.
it was like a crack in the hull or something. Like it caused the air to escape.
Yeah, so they're like, let's um let Krieger take the bait and like just get the body or whatever. But so we know the guy, the mustache that we see later in the episode, who we now know is a rebel spy, like a mole or whatever you want to call it.
Mole,
Um,
which that was a
he,
shock.
I, it's funny because he was always there, like in those meetings, like he'd always like talk and make comments, and
Hmm.
camera would be on him. Um, but like
But
they
then
would
we
a
didn't
lot
really
of
know
time.
anything about him.
But like a lot of times, Blevin was there, and I know there was a theory that Blevin was the spy, and that's why he wasn't doing anything on Ferric really to like put much effort in there because
That
he
would have
wanted.
actually made more sense.
But like, so they kind of redirected us to um, focus on Blevin. But now I want to go back and watch all those scenes and see what this Lonnie guy was doing and saying.
Like if he was trying to manipulate what
Yeah, because like here
I think he did last week, and I forget what he was. I think he
yeah,
didn't want them to do this plan.
I can't remember, but like I know going back now, there's gonna be things that he said like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Um, and so because like in the Luthen says to him, like, I've given you information so that you can excel your career. So like Luthen is literally telling truth about the rebellion that he's doing, like, and throwing people under the bus so that this one individual
Can get
can
higher up,
hire up.
therefore he
I think he
can.
said he was there. He's been there for 6 years,
Mhm.
working his way up. Um, so so like the
So that
plan.
it
What?
shows though that Luthen has been like kind of dirty this entire time.
Yeah, because he said I came up with like an equation 15 years ago, and like this is the only solution is what I'm doing, and like he is right. Like you have to agree, like without him doing this, the rebellion would never happen. And like it's really cool how the show shows how all these little like all these people, like if their thing doesn't happen, the entire rebellion won't happen at all. Like it's
Mhm.
with Luthen, with Mon, with Cassian. Like if and with Kino, like if Kino didn't do this jailbreak thing, like Cassian would have never escaped, and then he would never join the rebellion and never meet up with Jyn Erso and then get the Death Star plans. Like all these things, like you take out one little pin, the whole thing falls apart. So I think that's really cool how this goes. But like this guy Lonnie, so like the plan is to just let Krieger take the ship and let him take him. But Lonnie's like, but if we do that, it's gonna look suspicious because normally we would investigate, we would look into the situation. And then I really like Partigraz. Like I still think he's like one of my favorite characters because he's like Lonnie's like, I suggestion, sir. He's like, yes, go ahead. Like he just wants to know the truth. Like, what's the best course of action?
Yep. He's
And
very willing to listen to everyone's.
yes, and he's Lonnie makes this suggestion. He's like, all right, yep, that's what we'll do. Make it done. And then in that scene, Dedra is there, and she like storms off. Like,
Yeah, because I don't think she wanted them to be there.
right. So I don't. I wish we had
Desra's scene in this episode was kind of
'Cause
lackluster.
that's all it was, right? It was just her
Yeah.
standing there, and it's like I'm kind of like I want more with her. Like if there was just one scene of her going to like her assistant and like her assistant and just giving like a comment like this is not the West Coast. Like I would have liked that of just 30 seconds
Like,
of
this
them,
is not the plan that I wanted.
right?
Mm.
But yes, so that's the ISB thing, and then we'll finish the episode talking about the Lonnie Luthen stuff. But let's get to the meat of the episode, the prison break. But before we do that, this scene was a lot of chaos, a lot of blasters going off, blah blah blah. But someone else was also in a chaotic scene, and she has a message for us. So let's listen to Lucy, who is also in maybe a prison break of herself. So let's take a listen.
Ooh.
Hey everyone, Fictional Lucy here. If you're wondering what all that shooting is in the background, that's because I'm in a laser battle. So I need you to hear this very important message. You see, I'm from the Voicemail Cinematic Universe, which is an original Star Wars audio drama created by Empire Radio fans through voicemails. This battle is really intense, but you can't see the true drama of it since this is just audio. That's what I need your help with. You need to illustrate the VCU. That's right, I need a picture to go along with every voicemail in this story. Any type of media, Lego, painting, digital, anything. Just go into the description of this episode and find the link that takes you directly to a Google Doc. It'll tell you exactly how to submit your work. So please, start illustrating and get me out of this mess. I really hate this guy, but in the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yep. Any artists out there, we'd love to have you. So jump in. We haven't gotten any submissions for like a month now. So I'm kind of sad about that. So just if you
Step
can
it up, you
just
guys.
do it, guys. Like there's no risk. Like you don't have to like marry off your daughter to like some scumbags to like get this done. Like just no sacrifice is necessary here. Just draw and illustrate something and then email it in and then we'll use it. So all right. So R.I.P. Olaf. We see him getting zipped up in a body bag.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad. And then
That was a cool thing, though. Like the carrier.
Oh, because it was floating.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's like there's very few wheels in Star Wars. Like
I think
the only wheels that we
only
see
one, right?
is that ship that's on Kashyyyk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also used in Rogue One that Jyn
Yep.
Erso is like held prisoner in or whatever.
Yep.
Like those are the only wheels
Mm-hmm.
I think that we see in Star Wars, like on a vehicle, which is interesting. So that'd be cool to have like a hover chair or a hover anything really, but
yeah, anything.
But Star Wars, there's hover gurneys, so
yeah.
But yes,
just a lot less work for people physically.
Yep. And so they had to, I was gonna say wheel him through, but they didn't wheel him through.
Float
him through the work area to the elevator to get rid of the body. And so this would have been the night crew seeing them. So this wasn't their group, their day shift. This was the night shifts. They saw the body go through. And then Kino and Andor, they're put in like a I don't know, like a transition room between like parts or whatever.
Why did Kino not have his clothes on?
He did.
No, he put his shirt on like
after. No, that was their shower. They exited. That's what it was. They exited their shower and they redressed. That's what that was.
To go shower. I was like so confused. I was like,
I think.
Why is this boy naked?
I wonder if that's what they do before and after every shift, or after every shift they shower. Because we got the one shower scene before, but I don't remember if that was.
For some reason, I thought that was before their shift. But I could be wrong.
No, because they go straight back into the dorms, the living quarters for the night, and then that night is when they plan everything.
So Okay, so something I was thinking about, the night shift and the morning shift, do they share cells?
They might actually, yeah,
Which means that's kind of
because
gross, isn't it?
they shift, like they walk past each other.
Yeah.
So like they probably, but they said it's cleaned every day. So like I'm assuming they just have like they have those things where it's just like laser sanitation.
Yeah, they just sanitize
It's
everything.
probably just that it's just some UV light that they just
I was just thinking about that like just now. I'm like, dang. So someone shares
yeah
your spoon. Like,
I I didn't think about that either, but that's an interesting point. But it would make
I'm
sense
pretty sure
because
they probably would.
it cuts your costs in half. You only have half
Mm-hmm.
you only need beds for half. So yeah, so they're in that transition spot between the shower and the living quarters, and they start arguing. And so Kino, he's still like fearful of what just happened because like he knows he can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew's like, we have to go tomorrow. Like tomorrow's the only day. We have a plan. It only works when there's a new person added on. Like we have to do it. And they just start pushing each other. And like I was hoping there was gonna be like more of a fight between them, but it was more like they're just kind of like pushing each other and grabbing each other out of like fear and desperation, kind of. But Andor has his line that like I'd rather die fighting against them than to die giving them what they want, which is a good
Mm-hmm.
scene. And then Kino uses that later in his speech
Yep.
on the radio. But like that was really a lot of tension. And I think was it like Kino was like get on program, get on like right away, and then they're arguing, and then Cassian has that line, and then Cassian's like he's like goes on program, and then Cassian's trying to get him to be on program to enter in, and
Mm-hmm.
so then they go into their living quarters, and everyone's like, "What happened? What happened? Oh, it was Olaf. He's dead. Blah blah blah." And
They didn't even say anything, and then but everyone's like, "Well,
well,
clearly he's dead. He's not with us."
Andor says something pretty quickly, but then Kino's the one that's quiet at first. And dude, Cassian need to get in his thing quicker. That was
He cuts it close every
like
time.
before, like his first day there, like he was like had like a second of a cushion, like he stepped on, and then like it turned on like half a second later. But this one was like right when he lifted his foot off, it turned red, and I was like, bro, be a little quicker than that. Like, but yes, everyone's arguing kind of and screaming, and then Kino yells, "No one is getting out of here," or whatever it was, something like that. And he's like, we gotta figure this out tonight because like tomorrow is go time. And so yeah, like okay, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Like what exactly is the plan? And so very quickly then like the next morning when they're in their workstation, everyone's like on edge. Like this is when my heart starts to like race. Like my heart never raced more watching Star Wars than during this,
Really? That's yeah.
like leading up to when they actually like start the plan. Like my heart was racing. Like I
At
don't
a
think I've
certain point through these scenes, it didn't feel like I was watching Star Wars.
right. Like and I couldn't take notes. Like when the plan, like when they enter the workroom and everyone's like on edge. Like I wrote okay, plan dash, and it's Cassian cutting the like a pipe or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then I stopped writing notes. Like I just couldn't look down. I couldn't pause it. Like I was just so like
In
focused,
the zone, yeah.
and like my heart was racing. It was funny because Retta in the Discord said that her heart started to race too, and it started to race so fast that her smartwatch went off. Like, oh, are you working out now? Like,
Bruh.
like that's intense.
Yeah.
Like that much of like your heart racing, and so like I was just on edge the whole time because like I wasn't sure like what the plan was. Like we didn't know. Like I sometimes like when we don't know the plan, it's good, and sometimes like when you don't know a plan, like you're just like this is stupid. Like, but like Hero is a good balance of like what exactly. Because I
We
was
were
trying to put it
shown
together.
some of it in last week's episode, like a little bit, so we kind of had like a little teaser ish. But then we didn't know that all of them were on the same plan.
Right. Because I thought I thought that pipe thing was electrical.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
I
Well, we
didn't
talked about that last week. We thought it was just going to shut down like the basic power, and they
the
weren't going to get
floor or
shot.
like the elevator thing. Like, I didn't know what it was, and then like I was trying to figure out like the water thing because I'm like, this is me like nerd science stuff. Like, I want to know like the physics of this because like I thought that okay. Here's a little science lesson for y'all. People think that like water is a conductor, like meaning that like electricity flows through it, but that's not technically true. Like water does not allow electrical current in it. So if you're taking a bathtub, like taking a bath and it says pure clean water with nothing in it, and you throw a toaster that's plugged in, like you're not going to get electrocuted. Like that's not a thing. Even though they show that in all the movies. That's not a thing. But if you're like about to like fry yourself in the bathtub, and you're like, so you're sweating, like the salt from your sweat is what conducts the electricity.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay, they're flooding the floor so that the electrical floor won't shock them when it's turned on because it'll be an insulator. And I was like, that's kind of like far-fetched though. Like that doesn't make sense. Like why would they do that? And then I was like, but then we see that the water shorts out. It does both things. It shorts out the floor, and it also saved Kino's life because he was standing in the water and he didn't get shocked because water does not allow electrical current to go through it. So it was both. So there's your science lesson for the day.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I always thought it was the opposite.
And then in
Because they always say like even in like a electrical fire, like don't pour water on it.
They do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because that's the thing, it has to be like pure clean water. So if there's like things in it like salt or
isn't there like water in like most salt? Like salt in most waters?
Maybe. Like there's minerals.
Water salt, like you have water softeners and you put salt in that.
Right. But if it's just plain pure H2O with nothing else in it, like there's no
maybe that's why you can't pour water on it because most people's water isn't pure.
Maybe because
I'm confused.
Let's just say tap water is not pure clean water all the time.
No, I know.
But I drink tap water. Here's tap water right here. So
yeah, Jeremiah don't care. He likes the St. Paul water.
It is very good. But yes. So anyway, Cassian. He's cutting the pipe and he's trying to like break it through. And I'm like, part of me was like, he was cutting this pipe all these times. Like we know seems like he's been doing it for weeks. But what if he actually cut the water line like a few days ago and it just started pouring out? Like how would they deal with the plan?
Because he's been slowly doing it, right? So it's like, what if he accidentally cut too deep one day and it just started leaking?
Right. And so like also kind of seemed like where he was cutting, it might have been like to loosen it so that he could break it off. So maybe like cutting
that's what it was. It was like cutting it enough to make a dent and then he was going to shove something in it.
Because like where he was cutting it, it doesn't seem like it was a solid pole. It was like two pieces and like, so it's almost like
it seems layered
or something. So it was like something like to release it so he could like kink it with like that tool that he used to like bend it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was.
My only thing was I just didn't like think it flooded that quick.
Right. When he looks down, it's like flying down the hallway. I was like, that's a lot of water.
That's really quick. Also, when he came into that room, that boy was soaked. Like, how did they not realize it?
Well, he was underneath the walkway.
True. Yeah, he just like walked in so quick. I'm like, that boy's drenched.
You ever what's that movie with Jim Carrey? Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yeah.
When he like goes into the bathroom, but like he fights a shark or something. But when he comes out, he's like, "Do not go in there!" Woo! Like he's all like soaking wet and stuff. Like, kind of reminded me of that. Like he's just covered in water. But, so that new prisoner, I feel so bad for him. I was hoping that he was gonna get out.
Yeah.
But like
there's a couple prisoners that I was like, no.
He's there for 30 seconds. And he's already scared. He's shaking, like he's scared. and like
He
he
puts up a
dies.
good fight though.
He does, but then he gets shot. I'm like, poor guy. Like
He still helped.
he still helped, but like one, I was mad that Cassian's partner got killed right away. The black guy.
Yeah.
Like I was
That
hoping,
part I was like,
like if he had to die, it would be. I wish it was more like in the battle, like him like sacrificing himself or something, like saving someone. Like, but he just got shot because he was climbing up the thing. Like, I was like, that sucks. Like, that guy seemed like he was a cool guy.
yeah.
So, but dude, he was so athletic. He jumped up there and like swung up. Like,
You can do a lot. Well, one, they're in prison, so most of the time he probably works out,
there's not a lot working out. Where is he gonna work out? He's
just in his little cubby, and you just
do push-ups all day, all night.
push-ups. Yeah. It's 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
But R.I.P. I don't know if he had a name, but
Nope, I don't think so.
But so when the lift comes down, Cassian jams in his tool to like jam the lift. I'm like, okay, cool. And then they just start throwing their. Well, I should say, two of the guys at Cassian's workstation, they fake have an argument as a distraction. And so when that's happening, the guards and the guard on the lift, they're like watching that. So when it's going down and he jams it, that's what is the distraction. So that was pretty cool. And then it's hard because, like I said, my notes are terrible because it's just like nonstop action for like a half hour. But yeah, so they're trying to climb up. They're throwing all these. They had all these extra parts that they just had ready to go, and they're flinging metal chunks at these guards. Like
they just pretty much took all their stuff and started chucking it at the guards.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that they didn't turn the floor on earlier, but you need to have the drama. So like they're putting up a fight for like 30 seconds, and he's like, fry him, and then the water is long enough.
Probably just didn't want to fry. Like they just got done killing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
entire floors. So they probably were like, all right, let's not fry everyone yet. Let's try to control the situation a little bit.
Right. And so when one of the guards, yells to fry him, Kino's like, everyone get on your stations.
Yeah, stand on your tables.
And so one guy he's like 1 foot in the water, 1 foot off, and then he got shocked. But Kino was standing right in the middle of the water, and he survived. And so that water shorts out the floor and turns it off so that they can't reactivate. So that's when they start storming the thing more, and people are getting shot by the guards. But then, what I thought was interesting though is, so I don't think maybe we did talk about how in Rogue One, K2SO, his last words are for Cassian and Jin to climb, and then Nemec during the heist, his last words were climb, and then here Kino tells everyone to climb. So it's an interesting theme that they have where everyone yelling climb in these Cassian interacting with Cassian. So I thought that was cool. And then they just kind of go from level to level. They get like the guns and stuff. I'm surprised no one put boots on. Like I thought they would have.
That's what I actually thought the same thing. I was like, they're walking past a boot shelf, and I'm like, dude, throw boots on just in case. Like, you never know.
Right. So unless there's,
they just didn't want to.
Unless those, well, that doesn't make sense because they have the boots there. So like, I wonder, maybe not all those. Maybe I have to go look, but maybe all those hallways where they were running through didn't have the metal floor because they're not supposed to be there anyway. So it's like, I would have to.
Well, for sure the stairwell didn't, because it was like it had holes in it.
Okay.
So that was like for sure it didn't have metal floors, because that was like the whole reason why they found out that thing, the lift wasn't. It didn't have like that metal floor because the lift
Right. That was
had holes in it.
right, and it wasn't.
But yeah, you're probably right because they were walking throughout their part.
Yeah, and
the
even like
guard
when they get to the
situation.
central control room, the guy's like, "You're not supposed to be here."
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go floor by floor level, like room by room, and it's kind of like killing all the guards, and then he's like, "Everyone, we're free. One way out. One way out." And like, so everyone's joining and then trying to escape, and then they get to the main control room where they're trying to, because you get like a thing like 40 seconds till we're
It's
shocking
like
everyone.
someone talking over like the
Yeah, so that low like weird voice is like 40 seconds until everyone's fried or something along those lines. Like, oh crap, like how many people are gonna die here? Like I thought they were actually gonna shock like a lot of people and most of them were gonna die or something, but they get to control room and Kino was like, it's too late, and like he's like, turn it off, and the guy's like, that could mean so many things. I'm like, okay, the guy has a gun to you and you're just gonna like try and like use logic games with him, like come on. Like whatever. But so like Kino kills one of the control guys, like, all right, you know how serious I am? And then the other guard is like, okay, I can turn it off. And then Cassian's like, not just
off
the floor, like but like the power. And he's like, I can't do it, but he can. And so then he turns, it's like which is interesting, is it's a hydraulic, like hydro, what do they call it? Hydro generators. So it's like, that's why we see that water like on the outside kind of like swirling. I'm guessing that's like it's using, that's just the hydro generators. And so, which I think is weird that they said like, oh, if we turn it off, it takes like weeks or something, like or months to turn back on. I'm like, how is that a thing? Like,
probably because it shorts it.
Maybe, but like, I feel like something like that.
To know in the chat, hydro generator is just a fancy word for dam.
Something like that.
Yeah,
but like
that's what like a dam does.
You would think that with the technology that they have in this universe, a 3-month like wait time to reboot a hydro generator.
Maybe he was just saying that so that they felt guilty to not make them do it.
Maybe, but it's so weird.
Like, for me, it's like, why would you even say that?
I think he was being honest. Like, I think it was so true, but like, they're trying to escape. They don't care what's going to take 3 months.
That's what I mean. Like, who cares? It's not their problem.
Like, the guy was more concerned about the power getting turned back on than like his friend in the room that just got shot and killed.
Yeah.
But so then the other guy, the main guy who seems like the main guy, he turns off the thing, and so like the power turns off, and then the backup power turns on. And so I guess it's like more like emergency power, so like they couldn't turn the floors back on with that emergency power, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But I would be nervous.
Right. But then I really liked how Cassian made the two people be put on program. That was nice. That was a nice touch. Like, the writers did not have to do that, but they put that little sprinkles on. I'm like, all right, that's good. Be on program. But then Kino addresses the whole facility, and he was terrified. Like, he did not know what to do, what to say, but Cassian, like it has to be you. You tell us what to do every day. You need to tell these people what to do, like clear and to the point, like you talk to us every day. And at first, it's kind of like this, like a lame speech, and then Cassian's like,
"We need more.
We need more." And he was like, where we are now and how far we get is all dependent on like what we do next, type of thing. And he quotes Cassian's like, I'd rather die trying to escape or fighting than to die here and doing what they want us to do. So like he was on, like, it was Cassian's words to him that really swayed him to do this plan. And so he uses that same line. If I can be swayed by this line, then everyone else in this facility could be swayed. So he's like talking like the power's off, like the floors are all cold, like you can all step on it. And I really like how they go to the day shift or the night
A night
shift
shift
team,
and
and like the
one of the
leader,
guy.
like
Yeah.
the black guy was the leader, just like Kino, and he's the one that took the first step.
Yep.
I really like that he actually took the lead on that. Like he was willing to sacrifice his life for his people, which I thought was a really good layer to all of this rebellion talk and leadership and doing what needs to be done. And so
Yep. For sure.
that was really cool. And he also has a line of like, if someone's confused or lost, just help them out. Like, just do what you gotta do, get everyone out.
Well, someone said it in the chat earlier. They're like, if they fall down, pick them back up. Help your brother out. And then the same person in the chat's like, but they can't help a brother swim.
So we'll talk about that later. But like they did show like two people like trip and get.
Yeah, they saw two people though get trampled.
But they didn't like. They should have showed people
Them
like
get
picking
picked
them
back
up.
up. Yeah,
Like
no,
I thought they
probably
would have.
didn't.
That's weird that they didn't show that.
I feel like they probably didn't get picked back up. Let's be real.
Right. So yeah, they make a break for everyone. So we learned there's 5,000 people in this facility, and so that's a lot of people. So it's kind of weird that just this one tower of prisoners is free. Like there's, because if you look at that lake in that scene, there's like 7 or 8 towers in the water.
Yeah,
so like
first scene.
But they get to where the ship comes in and lands, and they all just start. They see the ocean, they see the light, the sunlight, and they all start jumping. And then
doesn't what's his name that's in Rogue One jump first?
Maybe, but there is one guy that yells like "one way out," like he's like excited to like jump. Like he's not in the movie, but like I think we did see Melchi. That's his name. Melchi. That's the guy that Cassian's running with at the end.
Yep.
But everyone's jumping out, and then Kino stands back. He's like, "Can't swim. I can't swim." And like this is like terrible.
I have that soundbite. It's pretty sad.
But it's
the
just
worst, bro.
It's like it was so unexpected. And it's like this guy gave up everything to save everyone, and it's implying that now he can't escape because he can't swim. No.
Yeah.
So it's when it comes to Kino's story, it's left open, and I think for the future of Star Wars, we have to keep it open-ended. Like, this is the last time we see this character, and we shouldn't find out if he survived or not. Like, I think that's the best thing.
We're supposed to just assume that he doesn't.
But we can't assume anything because because he could have jumped. Someone could have said, "Hey, we'll help you. Like, we're good swimmers. Like, we can hold you up and like we'll get you out." Like, we can assume that that's something that could happen. We could assume that he stayed back. Like, I'm hoping.
For me, I'm assuming that it's supposed to imply that he dies. Like,
you think he dies trying to swim, or you think he dies because he stays back and the Empire
stays back and they grab him and they kill him, or we see him next week and they torture him and they say who was the one that helped you do this, and then they find an image of they like show Cassian, and then the Empire finds.
I'm pretty sure they have cameras in the whole facility, so I think they would know. True. But like,
But do you think this is? I mean, we're not there yet, but I mean, we kind of are. What? Do you think this is what's gonna like? The Empire is gonna find out about this.
Well, right. Next episode, that whole ISB conference room is gonna be jam packed again.
Yeah.
Just like after Eldani. So like I'm excited to see that scene a lot. And so
I really hope we get like, dude, What if we got like a Vader walked in?
Okay, that's not gonna happen.
I
Vader,
know it's not,
but
one can wish.
He doesn't care about a prisoner escape. Let's be real.
Or like
he has bigger Force users to fry in a sense, like and doing his lord's bidding.
His lord's bidding.
But like I said, I hope we never get answers to what his fate is. Like I really don't want to see him next episode being tortured and like giving up Cassian or something. Like
I don't either.
I really like his character. Like
it ended.
As much as I want to see more of him, like Andy Serkis, like being a rebel leader would be so amazing. I just
but he can't be Snoke.
People in the Discord are just like arguing about that. Like, what if he's Snoke? Like, somehow he gets captured and they use some of his DNA to like whatever. I'm like, obviously it's not, but it'd be funny if they did that because
it would not be funny. It'd be so because Snoke is.
Let's just say this: it would be better writing than somehow Palpatine returned. Like, at least with that, like you can actually have a story of how Snoke came to be. In a sense.
Yeah, but Snoke is Palps.
Supposedly.
It's a clone of.
Supposedly, of course, Palpatine's gonna say that.
Well, according to the Skywalker book, Snoke is a messed up clone of Palpatine.
I know. I'm just saying. Like,
I mean,
like when you watch Jurassic Park, they have to like.
We could torture him and he could become Gollum.
No,
dude. There's one point where he was like yelling and he looked like.
Yeah,
he totally looked like him. I was like, Gollum. I just started coughing. But Gollum can swim.
Like
pretty well actually.
I think it would have been funny if they did like something that like Gollum said, or okay, no, I was thinking, have you seen the new Planet of the Apes movies?
Caesar,
because he does the motion cap and the voice for Caesar, and like the famous line from that whole trilogy is like "apes together strong." Like it would have been great if he was like something like along those lines, like "us together is strong" or something like that. This would have been just a funny nod,
just a little nod,
but
yeah, no, he's such a good actor there, and it was a really good thing. I just
like. I don't know. Like
I just didn't see it coming, dude.
That he didn't know how to swim.
Yes, like out of everything, like you're in this moment, right? Like, I mean, you guys can go on YouTube. Just go to like 14 minutes into like or 14 minutes left or something on the watch party and just watch my reaction because I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! Like they're getting out and it's like so intense." And then all of a sudden, I can't swim, and I was like, "Wait, what? What?" And he's like, "I can't swim," and then Cassian just falls back because it gets shoved. Like it showed that he wanted to go help him, but like after all this, his heart was like melted because he realized he couldn't actually get out.
Yeah,
and you saw that emotion.
And it's what makes it worse though. Like we didn't mention it, but Cassian gets knocked down into the water before he can actually even try anything to help him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like he was trying to figure out what he said, and then he gets shoved and he falls in. Like,
so, like we didn't even get like like saying go without me. Like we didn't even get that. It was just like it just ended. Like the relationship just ended. Like that's it.
Yeah,
they're probably never going to see each other ever again, type of thing.
Yeah.
And so,
like, and then even like after like the end scene, he got to some remote desert island thing and running with one other person.
Oh, he was running with Melchi. It's just at night across the land.
Yeah, and then like that was it. Like we didn't even see him like looking up out of the water when he landed at him or anything. Right. I just thought like the whole thing was so well done. And you're at the edge of your seat, you're thinking like they're getting out, this is so cool, and then bam, it like punches you in the face. It was so dramatic for me. That's probably why I cried. But yeah, I like this. I like that scene a lot.
But then you get the bird's eye view, and you see like the people swimming from the different. You only see 3 like groups, but I'm assuming all 7 sides. It would be eventually people would be coming out because people all the way at the bottom of the facility take a little longer to get out.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's like you gotta run up
So
all
many
those stairs. Like the power's off, so you can't use any elevators.
Nope. But you can do a lot. You can do a lot when you're trying to escape something, though.
I don't know. Eventually, you're gonna run out of energy. Your adrenaline only lasts for so long. Like
Long enough to swim.
Like you use all your adrenaline to get up the stairs, and you're like, "Oh crap, I gotta swim now." Like that sucks because technically, I don't even know how to swim. So
You don't?
I don't. So if we're ever in prison together in Alcatraz or something,
I hope you're the light that day.
But the only
You didn't eat
thing,
that much.
the only hope that I think Kino had is if he like tied a bunch of those rubber boots together and like floated on those as like a raft. That's the only hope I have for Kino. But all right, so that's the jailbreak. But we have a little bit more. We have some Luthen stuff to talk about. So there's a scene back at the gallery shop thing where Clea was like, I saw Mark. Somewhere like we saw in a previous episode, like the circle with the line through it, like a chalk mark. And then it's like I followed it, but then like I went to the stairs, but the railing was gone, which I didn't understand what that meant. Like there's a railing that was missing, or I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, I don't know.
But so like we were, so we've been asking all season like who the third person is in the circle, and
yeah,
like
and last week
we thought, oh, it's just Val. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess not. I guess it's this Lonnie guy. He's this person. So it's been a year since Luthen has talked with Lonnie. And so now in the scene we see Padme's headdress from Attack of the Clones. Retta pointed that out to me.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. Which I doubt it. I wonder if like some of these things I'm like, is this actually like this character's thing that they had, or is it just like the same thing? Like it's just like a cultural thing. Because like I wonder if the headdress that Padme had, if that's a Naboo like specific
crown
headdress, or if like that's something that's just a mass produced. Because like, if it's in this shop, like it's significant, like in its being unique.
I think it is hers.
So you think it's literally her headdress?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope it is. That'd be really cool.
I mean, it looks exactly like it. So
now, maybe next episode we'll see Padme's post-scratch attire from Attack of the Clones, like the two pieces, like the shirt with two pieces of the pants,
outfit
ripped with like red blood on it, a little bit, like some Geonosian dirt on it. That'd be really cool.
Or maybe like Leia, slave Leia outfit, pre-slave Leia. I think that's where. And you see Jabba walk in, he buys that.
He buys that? That'd be funny.
That'd be so funny.
Just like in the Book of Boba Fett, when they have all the guys carrying him on the brothers, the cousins on the thing.
And the one guy like struggling. You just see like he just comes in and he's like, "Oh, I want this," and this is like Slave Leia's outfit. He just buys it for future use.
That'd be funny. Like it would be cool to see an item from like the original trilogy, like in that shop, and then have it see someone like purchase it, or like honestly, I could see like Lando.
Oh, I was gonna say, what if like Lando goes in there and buys a cape?
That'd be cool. Like some, what if it's like Count Dooku, like a Sereno, like the Count, like a Sereno cape that like Dooku's family had. That would be cool. Like, and Lando comes in and buys a cape from Sereno that was like Count Dooku's family's capes.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be really cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Like there's the whole like the guard outfits, and there's so much stuff. There's like Mandalorian stuff in there. There's probably Beskar in there.
Well, there is the first time we were in there, we see like a whole like chest, Mandalorian chest thing, and then, but it's cool because we see everything's like switched in and out. So it's like we know this guy's actually selling
That
stuff.
boy's making money.
So like I want to know like who these people are. Like I want to see a sale. Like I want to be really cool.
It'd be cool to see like, or even we saw like, dude, what if we like see Boba and he has to buy something? Like he goes and buys a mod for his suit.
That'd be cool. We see Jango Fett's skull.
Bruh.
That'd be funny. But it's not really an artifact. So, but yes. So Luthen is, worried that this meeting is a trap of some sort.
It's a trap. I need that button. I need to add that button to myself.
Oh gosh, that would get overused very quickly. But so then eventually he agrees to it, I guess, because I really didn't. I felt the way that they could have done this meeting would have been better, because like they lead with, oh, this guy that was the Imperial officer or the ISB officer, it's him. Okay, like it would have been better if we saw Luthen walking through and going down, and then he opens up a door and it's the ISB agent standing there, and he turns around and then we're shocked. Like we didn't get to have the shock of this reveal of him being a mole, which I thought was kind of lame, but
it still worked.
It still worked. Like, but it was cool as finally seeing some aliens. We haven't seen aliens in a while.
For real. No, I thought like the whole walking scene, I thought he was going there to like look at the pilot or whatever that died. Like I didn't think it had anything to do
right
with like the meetup. Like I didn't even put that together really until after the fact, where he like was started talking to him. I was like, oh wait, he's the mole. That's kind of cool.
Right. And so,
you know what would have been a crazy plot twist? If that girl was the mole the entire time.
The daughter?
No.
Or Dedra?
Dedra, yeah.
That would have been really hard to justify that with the things that she's been doing. So
I know, but that would have been crazy.
Right. Now, some people still think that Vel is Luthen's daughter, meaning that Luthen would be Mon Mothma's uncle. But I don't know if that's because if he's rich and that's how he can afford to like have all these expensive items, like that would make sense because he's a Mothma in a sense. Again, part of that family, but that's yet to be determined.
I think his daughter is the lady that's in there with him, right?
No, I think they're just partners, like they're like colleagues that are just doing this, working together. But like, I don't know. Part of me wants maybe like they're a romantic couple, maybe, but
she's a little young for him, isn't she?
I'm saying he's rich.
Oh, okay.
And it's not uncommon for rich people to have younger.
I don't think
interests.
I don't get any of that vibes.
I'm saying we don't have any. I don't think he's there. That's father-daughter. But
yeah.
But she's definitely like looking out for Luthen because she wanted to like she's the one that wanted to make sure Cassian was killed. Like she's the one that went like
yeah.
But
she's definitely like making sure certain things get tied up so he doesn't get caught.
Right. So anyway, Lonnie is going down this elevator and he has like a comm that they have hidden in there, and Luthen is like
it's a Bluetooth
thing.
Literally just looked like the old school Bluetooth that.
Right. And so while he's going down, Luthen's talking to him, and he's like, congratulations for what? daughter, a healthy, beautiful daughter, blah blah blah. Like, so it's you've always had this conclusion or question of like, how does he know so much about everyone? Like, how does he get his information and stuff like that? So here's just another thing of him knowing the information of someone. This one's like easier just because he's a trackable person in a sense because he's an ISB agent. Like, he lives on Coruscant. Like, Luther probably has like some people like follow him or whatever to like know what's going on. But
it's still a little sus though.
But Lonnie's like wants to warn him about Krieger's people. Like, they're all going to be killed, and Luthen does things like, well, it's a sacrifice that we have to make because like if they don't come, then the Empire is gonna think something is up, and then that's gonna blow, like, because then it'll be a result of a leak, and it's like only people that know about this mission would have been the leak. So it would have been Pettigraz, Lonnie, Dedra, and I think there's like 2 other people that were in that room or something. And so it's like, if I tip them off, then you're going to get found. And like, I've invested too much in you. It's been 6 years and I've sacrificed so much to keep you going. And Lonnie's like, I want to get out. Like, I have a daughter now. Like, I think he said his wife's family has some, was it a shipping business or something? I can't remember what he said.
He has to go way out.
But he's like, let me just resign from the ISB and do that just so I can get out. Which, like, I didn't really think that you could stop working for the Empire. Like,
I don't know.
I've never thought about that before. So like, the fact that he wants to do this goes to show that like he can.
Yeah, it seems like he like matched his term.
But like, it's weird. Like, I've never thought that like someone just retiring from the Empire or like getting a new job. Like,
they said, in my favorite Star Wars book, Lost Stars, there's a point where they are able to, like, I think it's like only like a 6-year or 4-year agreement in the military, and then you can leave.
Isn't that true? Like, the same with like the United States. Like,
well, the same with us is, well, for us is 4 years. You do
4
4-year
years
terms, and then you can sign up.
Right.
But after 4 years, you don't have to sign up anymore.
I also kind of feel like in the Empire, it's just like the prison. Like, you sign up and they somehow
and
force
the higher
you to stay.
up you're kind of, it's hard to get out.
Right. So I just can't picture like Tarkin retiring and like sitting on the beaches of Scarif, like drinking like tea.
He should have done that. Maybe
drinking a tea, an iced tea.
Wouldn't have died the way he did.
An iced tea, but you wouldn't be drinking a cold beverage on a beach. But if he maybe moved to Hoth, you would need a warm beverage.
True.
And what's
either way?
Because you don't want a lukewarm beverage on Hoth. You want to have a hot beverage on Hoth. Mm-hmm. And there's no better hot beverage in the galaxy than Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea, which happens to be our sponsor for today's episode. So let's take a listen to them.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it. All right. Well, yep. So Luthen and Lonnie are still talking, and uh, Lonnie is talking about like the sacrifices he's made to do what he's doing, but he wants out. But then he asks Luthen, "What have you sacrificed?" And this speech by Luthen is pretty great. Like I've only listened to it through twice, but like it's this thing of him knowing that he's fighting for something that he's never going to eventually see. Like he knows that his end is near in a sense. Like so, like your theory that he's gonna die. Like
Yeah.
yes, it's probably gonna happen, but like this
Like he knows that he's
because
in a situation that he can't get out of, and he's gonna get caught one day. And
like one of his like he has all these lines. Like I should have written them down, but like one's like I dream with ghosts or something like that, and like I use my enemy's weapons against them. And one of them's like I look for a sunrise that I'm not gonna see or something like that, or like he's fighting for something, knowing that he's not gonna see it, but trillions of people throughout the galaxy will eventually see it because of what he's doing. And the thing is like what he's doing is a galaxy wide thing. Like it's spread across through the whole galaxy that we know, and people are looking for access. He is this access, and he actually denies any involvement with Eldani. Like he says like, oh, we were almost part of it. Like we were invited, but we said no. Like so even Lonnie doesn't even know the full story. Like he doesn't even know who did the heist. Like which is interesting. And
yeah,
so
because even Mon doesn't even know, right?
right, because she was pissed when it happened. Like was this you? Was this you? Like, do you know what you have done? People are now going to suffer. And he's like, that's exactly what I want. Like that's
Yeah.
and so he said that he's willing to sacrifice Krieger's 50 people for the greater good because he knows it's better for these 50 people to die than to sacrifice trillions of people that having freedom someday. So like he does evil things for the greater good in a sense, which is it is a moral dilemma that like people have been having forever. Like, do the ends justify the means? Is like what is the line of crossing, like the moral line? Like some people are like, no, like it's better to like not make the sacrifice, or sometimes like people are like, no, you have to make the sacrifice. So it's like it's a very complex thing, but like at the end of the day, it's his actions that ultimately lead to the rebellion being successful. And I'm hoping that he doesn't die this season, just so that next season we can see more of this web that he created. Because people are thinking that Axis, because he's his, people are referring, the ISB refers to him as Axis. People are thinking that somehow this is going to turn into Fulcrum, which is Ahsoka, like that Fulcrum information network that Ahsoka is part of in the Rebels. And so because it's like the Fulcrum Axis, like there's similar things of like whatever, but like it'll be interesting to see if they kind of tie in the Fulcrum network to this rebellion effort here. I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
Like we don't know exactly with Rebels if Fulcrum is specific to the Ghost Crew, because it seems like it's Fulcrum is a bigger thing than just them, but I don't know. I guess I don't. I should know this better, but it'd be cool if somehow Luthen's network involves the Fulcrum network, if it is in the network. If they do, I doubt we'll see Ahsoka, because I don't think Ahsoka wasn't the only Fulcrum, because we see Agent Callus, he ends up becoming Fulcrum, but
true.
But Luthen says like, I can't lose you to Lonnie. Like, you're too important. You're not allowed to leave. And he pushes his button and sends him back up. So like, I feel bad for Lonnie. Like,
Yeah, he's kind of stuck.
and it's just another one of those situations, kind of similar to Mon Mothma, where like she's put in an impossible situation, like where she seems like she might not have a choice. And same with Lonnie, like he doesn't have a choice here. He's a slave in a sense to the rebellion, while pretending to be, in a sense, a slave within the empire. So that's just very interesting. I want to go listen to that final speech from Luthen again, but
yeah.
And then the episode ends with Cassian and Melchi running for their freedom. And there's in the background you see like patrol
Imperial
ships,
probe
like
droids.
they're searching for people. So
I think
like,
they're Imperial.
Like I wonder how many people actually truly escape. Like they're able to get off the planet.
Yeah, probably
Like
them too. My guess.
Because it's like, how would they get off this planet? Like that's my question.
I know that's my question because it's like a legit desert.
Because I wonder if like this planet, what is it, Narkina 5? Is that what it's called? Like I wonder if it's inhabited by, again, normal like civilization. Like there's actually people, natives there that like have ships and stuff.
It has what, 3 moons? I think in the image they show like at the end they show like the sun or the moons.
Maybe, but I'm just like wondering, like, because it seems like a prison, like planet. Like if they are you putting all these this big,
Like,
huge,
it's
like
just
multi-structure prison thing. Like you would think that'd be because it's a prison, the Empire would not want anyone else there other than the prison itself. But like,
But it also, we got to think, it's very desert-y at the end. So what if they already stripped the whole planet of its resources?
probably that's true.
Knowing
Because
Star Wars, they do that a
like
lot.
the manpower to build that all those towers in the water, like that's a lot of power. So they probably just used the people to build it and then killed them, or
it, like literally, it's like if as far as the eye can see, like it's just all desert dust. Honestly, kind of looks like Tatooine. Like it's just like nothing. And
Right.
there's 3 moons in the image. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. At one point, it was probably something, and maybe they went there, stripped everything, and then of all the metal and all this stuff for what they're making. But you got to think, what are those guards doing? They're not just sitting there. Like they probably get days off.
I don't know.
Potentially. So we'll find out next week.
But yeah,
It
because
would be second. There's like this whole episode is them just not off the planet.
right. So it's like so there's only 2 episodes left, and we know that there's a bunch of crap goes down on Ferric at some point because that's in the trailer. Which, so it's like, what exactly is going to happen? Because we know that Marva is sick, Cassian's mom. Like she's probably dying. Like she's not taking her medication. She's sick. Blah blah blah. And you know Cassian is going to want to go back to Ferric to see his mom, but obviously he can't go there because it's under Imperial control. So it's just, how is it all going to play out? And there's only 2 episodes. I don't know. Like I honestly have no theories going forward so far about like what the next episode's going to hold. I'm guessing it's going to be like a 2-part. Obviously, it has to be a 2-part arc. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of like a mini movie, I think. I'm guessing they're going to be 2 longer episodes.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Me too. My guess is like they're going to be like at least an hour each, potentially even longer.
So
it'd be nice if we get more Senate stuff, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it. Like if we I think we'll probably see next week your theory about Mon Mothma's father setting up the arranged
Gosh,
marriage.
I hope that's true.
But other than that, like, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm afraid to go back and look at the trailer because I don't want to get spoiled.
I'm literally watching it right now.
Oh gosh.
So far, we've seen everything.
Right. So I'm excited. 2 more episodes, and then we have to wait for season 2, which we'll
I
talk
don't think
about.
we're seeing Saw Gerrera anymore.
Oh no, because we see him in the trailer in a scene that we didn't see yet.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because he's like, "What shall we call it?" And he's like, "A rebellion" or something like that. So there is that line that we haven't seen yet. So that might be next episode. Like, I just don't know what like a conclusion would be. Like, what would be like a big huge conflict? Is it the riot on?
Okay, well, Luthen gets into a gunfight at some point.
Okay, I said I don't want spoilers.
Oh, my bad.
But
That's why I think Luthen goes out this.
I don't know. We'll see.
Besides that, like, honestly, we've seen all of it.
Cool.
So the trailer is actually not that much spoilery at this point anymore.
Cool,
I forgot that guy died. The
All right.
guy in the heist with the forearm.
Yep.
Yeah, literally, that was like the only thing. Everything else we've seen. So
Cool. Any other thoughts before we transition to everyone's favorite time of the show?
no, I love this episode. If you guys literally listened to this whole thing and didn't watch it, spoiler alert. Also,
And I hope you
watch
found.
it.
I hope you found our heated debate on arranged marriage and Mon Mothma entertaining.
Yes.
It was exciting. I should just.
Jeremiah loved that.
We should just.
He loves debates.
Because it was a meaningful. It wasn't like we were arguing like to be mean to each other. Like we were like.
No. Yeah.
It was good discussion about a controversial storyline, and
You should just clip that and like post it by itself too.
I'm kind of happy that we're not like huge like on YouTube or something, because people are gonna like clip and like accuse me of like the worst things probably.
We should just do it. Watch, like that'd be our most blown up.
That's how we get famous,
video.
is me saying arranged marriage is great. We gotta do it. Okay, let's transition over.
Let's just go to the voicemail before Jeremiah gets in trouble or something. It's voicemail time.
All right, cool. Well, we have 4 voicemails.
Ooh.
We were worried last week when we kind of changed our voicemail schedule that we were going to get a ton because of this switcheroo, but we only have 4 tonight. 2 from Addie. So let's listen to those. She was mad at us a little bit that we did voicemails a day early. So these are a little off than what she wanted. So let's just take a listen for number 1 from Addie.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Addie back at you with another voicemail. This probably won't be played till next week because I'm extremely late because I was caught off guard and I didn't know that we were doing voicemails on Tuesday. So I'm late, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to wish you a happy Halloween and wish that you guys have a great transition into getting ready for Christmas. Me and my family are already thinking of putting up Christmas lights. So, yeah, we got that going for us. Anyway, we'll be sending in another voicemail with some news, but I'm not going to say it now. Anyway, I'm running out of time. Hope you have an awesome day. May the force be with you. Bye.
All right, Eddie, you're always very happy and giddy. So we always enjoy your voicemails. Could you bring some giddiness to us when we hear you? But yes, sorry we didn't.
Yeah, we should have just kept it the same.
We should have kept the same. You're right.
Yeah.
But
our bad.
But yes, thank you for the Halloween wishes. And that brings up, she mentioned that her family might be putting up Christmas lights already.
Dude, if it was up to my wife,
Yeah,
it would already like the tree would be up.
isn't it? It's not up to your wife that she doesn't.
No, it's not because I told her we can't do Christmas starts the day after Thanksgiving. Black Friday is Christmas Day. Or literally like that night. That's
So
Christmas.
so
time.
for me, okay, it kind of Christmas is in two phases. I think October 1st you can start listening to Christmas music.
Ooh, that's aggressive. All right, hot take.
But I would say that you have to wait till at least Thanksgiving to start putting up trees or lights or decorations or anything like that. Like Christmas,
So you can
like
dabble in the dark arts a little bit. Is that
it's
what
like
you're
the
saying?
music gets you in the mood, it gets you hyped, and then like if you want, like as like a Thanksgiving tradition, you can start putting up Christmas stuff. Like I'm fine with that. I do see people with their trees up already. Like there's already like I'm walking like by apartments like
Oh yeah.
my facility like I'm creeping and walking by looking seeing their windows that are lit up Christmas trees and stuff. So
Yeah, it's a little soon.
they've had those up for like a couple of weeks already. So like before Halloween.
Before Halloween? That's
Oh yeah.
aggressive.
There are people that like I think my boss's wife already put up the Christmas tree like 3 weeks ago. He said
Dude,
so.
So we had this house down. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but we had this. There's this house down the road from us, and it's like on a corner, and it's like on the main road, so you see it like when you drive by it. And they like went all out for Halloween. Like they had like projector onto like the side of their house playing on repeat horror movies. Like it was crazy. And then like their garage, they had like a full haunted house inside their garage. Like they went all out. And then the day after, they literally took it all down. It was like all done before I came home from work like the next day. It was like they had nothing left and they only had like pumpkins and it was like all Thanksgiving. But it was like I've never seen someone work so hard to decorate that much for like literally 2 weeks and then they tear it all down and then it's already Thanksgiving. But I was pretty
So
impressed by how fast they took it down.
I never told you about the setup by the house that I grew up, did I?
Mm-mm.
So there's a guy. So it's like the street that I'm on, that my house was on, and then one block up, like north,
Mm-hmm.
there's a guy who, for Halloween and for Christmas, goes all out. But what he does is, it's not just his house. He does like 7 or 8 houses on both sides of the street,
Huh?
and
Like they're all
it's
their friends.
completely covered in like Halloween stuff. And he
That's
does it also for Christmas too. But what he does is it's all synced up to music.
Oh,
So
that's dope.
he has the radio,
Yeah.
a local radio station where it's like only emits like a block away or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can drive in, turn the music on the
And
radio station, and it's like Halloween. It's Halloween music,
Oh, that's cool.
and all the lights are like blinking and flashing and stuff to that music. And then he does the same thing for Christmas. And
There is a house down the road that has like they go or last year anyways, they went full out for they have like the radio you tune in, it's their playlist and like they have it like bunch of lights. And I think one night when Miles was young, we like took him to it and we just sat in the back of our car and we will like watched it with him and he was like he probably walks a little crooked because of all those flashing lights now, but
yeah,
yeah.
the guy's Christmas one is probably his most famous one because, like,
I should go. Did he still do it?
as far as I know, 'cause I think a guy at one of my coworkers brought his kid trick or treating, and he went down there to like see that. So if the Halloween
should.
stuff was up this year, the Christmas stuff would be there.
Yeah, I should go check
And
that one out.
there's
Too.
it goes like car lines up like down the block, like people just wanting to go down and see it. So
To look at it, yeah.
and it's really funny because in years past, when I've seen it, so it's like 4 or 5 houses on his side, and 4 or 5 houses on the opposite side across. But there's one house like in the middle on the opposite side that doesn't have any on.
Pooper?
Yeah.
Freaking party poopers.
Like what the heck? Like
so do they flash to the music too, or is it just
yeah,
like,
it lines up with the music.
What a scrub. There's this one old cranky lady
Scrooge.
in there. Like,
It's the
"Nah,
Grinch that lives in that
I don't want
house.
to pay for that electric bill. I'm not doing
I'm
that."
pretty sure that guy offers to pay for like electric bill for
To
like
help,
that.
probably. And he probably loves setting it up.
Yeah.
And like, where you used to live isn't like a suburb. Like,
Right. It's just a regular city, like,
it's like a city. Like, it's not even
yeah.
like super bougie. So like, to have something like that, like, that's kind of cool. Because like I
Yeah.
said last week, like where we went trick or treating, it wasn't gated, but it felt like that. Like that kind of stuff would not surprise me on that area.
Right.
But yeah, that's cool. I should
But
go check it
yes.
out.
Yes, Addie, thank you for that first voicemail. But you said you had some special news for us. So let's listen
Ooh.
to number 2, which I'm excited for.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Addie back at you with another voicemail. Here is the voicemail I promised with some news. So, we have this shed at the back of our property that has been there, well, since we bought the house. And it's just empty. We have no idea what we were going to do it when we first bought the house. But after a long time of thinking and waiting and figuring out what we're going to do it for it, we have, after 3 years, finally turned it into our very own Lego room. So now I will be able to finally do some stop motions for the VCU. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I won't make any mistakes when I'm setting them in. Anyway, I'm running out of time. Hope you have an awesome day, and may the force be with you. Bye.
Dude,
Yes. So
that's pretty cool.
Like a month ago, or maybe more than that, like 6 weeks ago, she sent in a Lego stop motion
Oh, she did.
scene for the VCU. So like I already know what her abilities are. Like,
Is it pretty good?
yeah, it's time. She linked it up with the length of the voicemail, so it's like you just link them up, and it.
I want to go watch
So
that
it's
now.
really cool. So, I look forward to that. Seeing more of those, because it'll be like watching a movie, and it was really cool. I don't want to be too spoilery, but like in one of the scenes, the scene's going on, but she has a Lego rat like walking across the scene,
Like slowly moving.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So it was
Dude,
cool.
that's so cool. Dude, I honestly was like thinking about buying like a tiny home. I've seen them like on Facebook Market, and like just propping it in my backyard, just so that I have like a full on silent podcast studio place. Because at a certain point, Miles is not going to be sharing
You could
the
just move into
master
your basement.
bedroom. And I think it might be better.
As long as you're sitting down, it's like, what's the difference, right? Drew's basement is literally like 5 feet up. Like
my basement is like literally.
I can't even walk down. It's hard for me to walk down the stairs.
I mean, obviously, I don't want to bring my desk down there. Now we do have like an attic, through like you walk through my closet and it opens up to a bigger attic.
Like I remember you showing me that, yeah.
So like, if there was a way to like extend the roof of that, could make a bigger room up there. But I think I probably won't live here long enough to even do any of this. I was like looking like, dude, $12,000 for a nice mini home and just make a dope podcast studio in the backyard. It just looks like a shed, and all of a sudden, bam, that'd be cool. But
it would be.
We'll see.
All right, thank you, Eddie. I'm excited for your submissions for the VCU. I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. But again, anyone who's listening, if you're an artist, just draw, paint, do digital art, do Lego stuff, like do sculptures, like do anything. Like let's get it done. We still have like 60 some voicemails to get done, and like
not that much until the new year.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting doubts about this whole Christmas goal, because I still need like time to like actually like edit it and put it all together and have it done by Christmas. So we need this stuff going. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, step it up.
Yeah, and look, Thanksgiving is coming up. I'm sure you probably have family members that you're going to see that are artists. Like, recruit them, like make them, like for Christmas, have them submit art for the VCU
for your Christmas present.
For your Christmas present. And then you send that to us for a Christmas present to us and the rest of the fans.
It's the season of giving.
Yep. All right, cool. Thank you, Eddie. But we have 2 more voicemails. And we have a voicemail from Toby, who is from Australia. Remember, Drew,
Ooh,
because
yes.
you thought he was
I was
from.
wrong. I owe you a quarter.
Yep. So let's listen to Toby.
Hi, Empire Radio. This is Toby sending in another voicemail. I just wanted to say that I think your Andor reviews and breakdowns videos are really cool, and I really enjoy listening to them. But anyway, my question is, beside the Ahsoka and Mandalorian Season 3 shows, what maybe is a lesser, like, hyped up show or project or game or whatever coming out that you're the most excited for? Anyway, thank you.
All right, cool, Toby.
First of all, Toby, I don't know what happened to your voice, but you sound a lot more Australian in this
Oh,
one.
whatever.
So
It was
I don't
something
know.
Exactly the same. I can load up the other ones from him and we can compare and contrast. But
We might need to do that because I don't know. This all of a sudden his accent came out. But
Toby does have a good question about some of the other shows. So I was thinking of doing some news at the beginning of this episode.
Yep.
About TV shows that has come out. But because you asked about shows, we'll do the news now. But later this month, during Thanksgiving week, Andor season 2 is going to be beginning filming. So they've been in production for a few months now, just probably writing and building sets and stuff. But now they're going to be filming starting later this month. But also this month, Acolyte has started filming. So Acolyte is probably the most hyped show apart from Mando and Ahsoka, because it's going to be very, very unique. It takes place 150 years before Episode 1. It's focusing on the dark side, Force users. There's going to be, I think, there's some Jedi stuff going on there too. So there's a lot.
Closer to the High Republic time too.
Technically, it's in the High Republic time. So
it's gonna be juicy.
It's going to be starring the actress who played Rue in the Hunger Games movie, the first Hunger Games movie. So she's like 20 now or something like that. So, but then there's one of the guys from Squid Games is in it.
I saw that. Yeah.
Then there's some other actress, I forget. I can see her face, but I can never. Oh, she's the chick from The Matrix. She's in it, like the main lady. So she's in it.
I was like, Will
not
Smith?
The old lady, huh?
Not Will Smith's wife.
Oh no,
she's in The Matrix too. I was like, wait, what?
She is? I've only seen Matrix once, that trilogy, or is it 4 movies or 3 movies? The original.
The original 3. Now 3. There's 4.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm excited for Acolyte just because it's going to be very different. It's going to be in an era, live action show in an era that is not something we're used to. So it'd be cool to see the first High Republic stuff in live action, and it's Dark Force stuff. So I'm expecting to see some Sith stuff like Plagueis. We might see a young Palpatine at some point. I don't know. I'm really hoping we see a line of Sith that have been in hiding for 1,000 years. So that's exciting. There's other rumors out there, after Kenobi came out, there's rumors that there's going to be a Reva show, and there's rumors that there's going to be a Cal Kestis show from Jedi Fallen Order.
Wait, the girl that's in Logan's in this. Is that the
Oh,
same?
yeah, that her too. Yeah, the girl X-23 or whatever her name is in the movie. She's in the movie as well, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
I think, how old is she? She's like, I don't know if she's a teenager still or if she's like an adult, but yeah. But I think it's cool. It's going to be a good cast of all these younger people, some bigger names. But yeah,
she was born in 2005.
Oh, so she's like 17. Cool. But there's also, I saw one place, there's a rumor that there's going to be a show around Bix, which I think is not, that'd be a stupid show. I don't care about that. But,
well, and then the big news that came out today.
Oh yeah, yes.
Is that Studio Ghibli is in the works with a Star Wars thing.
So I'm assuming it's Vision season 2, but Drew's saying that they only do movies.
I'm assuming it's gonna be just an animated movie
I don't know.
that they're just gonna do. Because Studio Ghibli, like the art style is like, I mean, it could fit in Visions. They could do like a short episode. I just think
What
to land
what
Studio
movies?
Ghibli is so
How many?
intense.
What movies have they done?
Studio Ghibli?
Because like the only anime movie I've ever seen is Spirited Away.
They've done that.
That's Studio Ghibli,
Yes.
and I remember really enjoying that movie.
They did Spirit Away, Castle. I forget the name of it.
But I'm like I said, I think it's just Division season 2. Like maybe they did multiple episodes or something, but they did have like their own on their Twitter page.
Yeah.
Had their 15-second like Lucasfilm logo flash, and then like it was like a drawing of like a looks like a teddy bear or some kind of like
which is one of their biggest characters in their show.
So that's a character from
in one of their movies. Yeah, that it's like their mascot, but it's also one of their.
Oh, okay, interesting. So I'm maybe that means if it is a Visions season 2 thing, maybe that means we're going to be getting a Visions trailer soon. Maybe I'm hoping.
Yeah,
because that's rumored to come out in the spring. So.
Oh yeah, this says Studio Ghibli is going to take part in Star Wars Vision season 2.
Where are you reading that?
It's off of a Japanese website. I can send you the link.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess it is just a Visions thing.
And then Toby also asked about games, and the only Star Wars game that's like in the near future coming out is Jedi Fallen Order sequel, which is Jedi Survivor, which is supposed to come out in the spring.
Well, and then when is KOTOR Remastered coming out?
I don't know. I think that's still a couple years away.
Games are the worst. Man.
Okay, games always take years to make.
Take forever, bro.
It takes longer to make a video game than it does a movie.
And that one game is like
Eclipse.
Just a waste of a trailer.
That's still moving forward. Like there was news
they were on pause though, weren't they?
No, that was never a thing. Like there's rumors, but like those are just rumors. And then, but there was something that happened like a couple weeks ago or like a month ago of just some developments of like news that came out. Like it wasn't like official news, but it was like, oh, like these people got hired by. So it's like it's still going. Like it's still every new game these days they take years and years to make. Like
yeah,
the last time we had a Grand Theft Auto game came out on PlayStation 3.
Yeah. And the new ones should be coming out soon, though, isn't it?
Grand Theft Auto
6? Yeah, it's not coming out really soon.
It's been announced. It might be coming out next year and 2 years, but they've been working on that forever. Like it's literally been like 15 years.
I swear I thought it's coming out like early next year, though.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it'd be like fall of next year, like a year from now, just because they would want a summertime trailer. But yeah, like games these days, it takes so long to make just because it's.
Oh, you're right. It's like 2024 or early 2025. Oh, frick. Why are we talking about this game?
Yeah, so
No, I know. Games take forever.
But Jedi Fallen Order, like, that sequel that's coming out in the spring, like, if I can get a PlayStation 5 by then, I'll try and get it, but I don't know. But back to Andor Season 2 and Acolyte, since they're both beginning filming this month, that means it's probably going to be, 2 years before we see those. So, Andor, I'm assuming Andor is going to take longer to do production.
Andor, yeah, probably Acolyte too.
But Acolyte, we don't know if it's going to be a shorter series, if it's just supposed to be a one-off series, or if it's
volume series,
or in the volume or not.
If it's in the volume, it'll be done faster. If it's like Andor, it's going to take a little.
So the only guess would be Andor is in 2 years, But Acolyte, like it could be a year from now, maybe, or maybe like early 2024.
Because we get
Because we
Bad Batch
get
season 2,
then we get
Mando,
Mando
season
season 3, and
3,
then we get Ahsoka.
Ahsoka
And then
all next
I think
year.
next year we're also supposed to get Skeleton Crew. I think
When's Visions 2 coming out?
that's rumored in the spring, I believe. But like if we're getting this thing from Studio Ghibli, like that little teaser thing, like I feel like a Visions thing is coming soon because this weekend is Disney Plus Day, right? And
Oh, I thought that already happened, didn't it?
I don't know because there's the rumor that there's a little Grogu short movie coming out that day on Disney Plus. So that might be this weekend.
Is it?
I thought it was the 12th, Saturday the 12th, but I don't know. But yep, Toby, that's that. We're kind of rambling now, but there's tons of Star Wars content, and stay subscribed to us because we'll be here to cover it all because we're here for you guys.
True.
But yes, but that being said, let's listen to our last voicemail from Darth Bane from the Discord.
Ooh.
Hey Empire Radio, it's Cal, or Darth Bane, from the Discord. I got a quick question for you guys. I know you guys are pretty big Stranger Things fans. So who are your favorite characters from Stranger Things? Or your top 2, I guess. I would have to say that mine would probably be Dustin and Eddie. They could probably swap for the one spot. And then Steve is like right below them. So let me know what you guys think, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.
All right, thanks.
I was literally going to say Dustin is like my number 1.
So the thing about okay, we've had 4 seasons, and it seems like
let's not really talk about season 3, but yeah, we got 4 seasons.
What's wrong with season 3? What you mean?
I don't know.
That was like a horror, like gore fest, like, and that was a very emotional season. I liked it. There's no season of Stranger Things that I don't like or was disappointed by. There's only
season 2 wasn't the best.
There was one episode in season 2 that no one liked.
The Chicago episode.
But I would say that looking at the 4 seasons that we have, every character has had like very important parts to the story. So like not every some seasons, like one certain characters don't have any like significance, and so it's hard to say because like each season is different. But I think like of the main friend group of the boys, and I guess now with Al and Max, but like of the boys, I would say Dustin, is probably my favorite, just because he's the funniest.
Yeah,
but
especially season 1, that boy is hilarious.
Oh, he's funny all the time. But was it? But season 2, we had Dustin with Steve, and that was just a great duo.
Yeah.
And so like that was.
It took me a long time to like Steve. It literally took me up until like.
Well, that's the whole point. But
this last season, it was like the first season I actually liked Steve.
But I really like Nancy. Like.
Yeah, Nancy's a solid character.
I just like that she's just always been good with guns and is she's the gun person.
Yeah, she's a beast, dude.
Like the gun scene in the finale of this season, like that was intense. That whole scene.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for me, it's probably Dustin and Elle.
Like,
Hopper though.
I like that all the characters have their important parts to the story, and they all have their highlights. I think the best is like to ask like what's the weakest character, and I think like as the series has gone on, Mike has gotten less and less significant to me.
Honestly, for me, it's Will.
Will, he hasn't done a lot. Also.
I could live without Will.
Like
season 2 was
season 2. Season 2, Will had his time to shine. That was where he had his best scenes.
And then this last season, he's just in love with Mike and doesn't know how to deal with that.
Spoilers.
No, my bad.
And it's very kind of subtle, but then when you look back, it's like, oh, okay.
It's not that subtle. But yeah, his character is not that great, and honestly, he's not the best actor compared to all the other kids.
Will?
Yeah,
Dude, season 2, he was insanely good.
he was all right.
Dude, that
Season 1, he was really good because he wasn't in the show.
Okay. Okay. But
I don't know. I could live without Will. Honestly, he's alright. But honestly, this last season though, Mike wasn't the best either. That puberty's hitting him hard right now.
But I'm saying, like, through the whole show, Mike has gone downhill as a character for me.
I think
because he hasn't changed.
Acting has gone down a little bit.
There's
honestly.
that, but like his character hasn't
developed,
and it's just kind of like a straight. He's the same. He's always been.
I just like if you watch him in season 1, and then you watch him like Wolfheart. If you watch him as an actor and like he's so good. But then like this last season 4, I'm like, dude, his acting was like, do you even want to be in this role anymore? Like, you seem kind of done with this character, which he might be.
I don't know, but
there's this parts of it I was like,
Stranger Things is still my favorite show of all time, and season 4 was one of the best things ever of all time. So
I did like a lot of it. Best of all time is a little aggressive for me, but I do like it a lot. I really like season 1. I think it's some of the best.
Right.
I also love the Goonies, so that's kind of why too.
Goonies never say die. Remember that. All right. Well, thank you for that, Darth Bane. Great question. Like it's good to like have some nerding out stuff with non-Star Wars stuff. So Stranger Things is always a good conversation. But that being said, let's get out of here because we're going pretty late. So
true. I just realized that.
Let's go over some socials and call it a night. So if you want to connect with us more and not just listen to the podcast, but see us elsewhere, there's a link in the description. The links.co/Empire Radio link. Click on that. It will bring you to Instagram, Facebook, a link for the Discord. So join the Discord. It's a banger.
Do it.
There's also our YouTube channel where we have, not only do we have this podcast as a video form, but we also have Drew's watch parties and some, when trailers come out, he does reaction videos and
vlogs. About to do a fun one this weekend. Ooh. So you guys want to stay tuned unless you're in the Twin Cities. Come say hi to me at Twin Cities Con.
Yeah, it was kind of bittersweet. Like,
yeah,
we got VIP press passes, but then they didn't tell us till like last night.
Yeah.
And so now we can't really go. But Drew's going for one day. But excited for that. Look for that. But also twitch.tv/Empire Radio.
Correct. If you want to catch us
for the live stream. So right now we got people in the chat listening to us. Mm-hmm. They're chatting away, talking about stuff. So join that as well. And also our fan email. Send us an email for anything. Ask us a question. If you don't want to send a voicemail, we'll answer it. Or if you just want to like say, hey, do that. There's also a link for the voicemails too. And also finally, needlesslynerdy.com podcast network, which we are part of, which Darth Bane has his own podcast that he does a lot of like horror movies and like DC stuff there. So if you like that kind of stuff, go check that out. So needlesslynerdy.com podcast network. Anything else, Drew?
Nope, that should be it for me. Just go check out all those socials and stay tuned for fun things. And Andor, we got 2 more episodes left.
2 more. It's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, I'm
excited. All right, cool. Well,
this episode. Okay, so there is a comment on our YouTube channel, and they're like, Drew, do not fall out of love for this show. Like it was like a big or like they were just like, I feel like you're falling away from Andor. Don't fall into that. And this episode drew me back in a lot.
Drew you back in.
Yeah.
Burr, burr, burr.
But with that being said, I'm excited for next week a lot. So stay tuned.
Definitely. All right. Cool. Well, you have been listening to another Wizard episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.